search is on for the bodies of dozens of women allegedly murdered by a serial killer over the last several decades.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nose.
A woman by the name of Lucy STUDEY is making claims that her father was a serial killer. The FBI is investigating the possible crime scene, and cadaver dogs made a hit indicating the possible existence of decomposing remains in the area of a well, where she claims her father once made her and her brothers throw the remains of women he had killed into a 100-feet deep well on their Green Hollow Road farm. She claims her father killed up to 70 people, which would make him the most prolific serial killer of all time. Come join me in this emerging case that could possibly involve a serial killer in Thurman, Iowa. Hello, my name is Holly, and this is the Murder She Shed, the place where we honor the dead right from my little she shed. The daughter of the late Donald Dean STUDEY says her father killed and buried as many as 70 bodies on the rural tract where he lived. Donald died in 2013 at the age of 75. Lucy claims most of the women were sex workers and that he would murder 5 to 6 women every year in the 80s. She said he would just tell us we had to go to the well, and I knew what that meant. Lucy alleges her father would stab, shoot, or strike the heads of his victims inside of a trailer on their property. Quite horrifying if this is true that a little girl was witness to all this. Horrifying. After the alleged killing, she said they would transport the bodies to the area of the well via a wheelbarrow during the hotter months and a sled in the winter. They would then cover them with dirt and lime. On Friday, October 21st, 2 cadaver dogs detected the scent of human remains across 4 different sites on the property, and both dogs hit on the exact same place. The dog handler stated, according to the dogs, this is a very large burial site. That is so horribly scary, this whole thing. Over the years, Lucy tried to alert teachers, church leaders, and law enforcement, but her claims were not investigated by authorities. Lucy claims no one would listen to her. She said the teacher said family matters should be handled as a family. I didn't know dead women was a family matter. That is frankly really weird thing to say. And law enforcement has said they couldn't trust the memory of a child. She said, I was just a kid then, but I remember it all. Lucy also claims the 4 children obeyed their father's orders to go to the hills because they were afraid they wouldn't return back. And she said that her father frequently drank and that he enjoyed stomping or crushing the heads of the women inside the trailer to death. And she remembers one time he said about a victim, that bitch deserved that. Oh, shit. No, I shouldn't say shit. This is a crazy case, guys. Crazy case. With the exception of a 15-year-old runaway and 2 men, Lucy reports that all the women were white, had dark hair, and were in their 20s and 30s. All of them were dressed and wearing jewelry when they were buried, and Lucy claimed that her father had retained the gold teeth as souvenirs. She stated that she is willing to take a lie detector test. The well the bodies are said to be in is about 90 feet deep and was filled in at some point in the past. According to officials, drilling the well would cost about $25,000, while a full excavation would cost over $300,000. Since police have not found any remains yet, the property on Green Hollow Road isn't considered a crime scene as of this time. Although, like I said, the cadaver dogs did smell proof of human remains. Although it is known that Donald used multiple aliases, he also had a criminal past. He served time in prison for minor theft in Missouri in the 50s and for drunk driving in Omaha in 1989, according to the police. Lucy called her father a lifelong murderer and criminal. The sheriff stated he never went to Donald's trailer alone because they were real wary of him. They were scared of him. The cops were even scared of him. He must have been a mean guy for the sheriff to even be scared of him. Lucy said her father was a gambler that was always in debt and was known to steal from every job he ever worked at. He was a trucker sometimes, which, you know, there's been a lot of serial killers that's been truckers. 2 of Donald's wives supposedly died by suicide. One strangled herself with an electric cord, and the other supposedly shot herself in the head. But it is possible Donald could have murdered them too. Sean Smith, who with his father owns the abutting land that grew up with the STUDEY children, is not surprised by these allegations. He too had heard the stories, and he remembers an odd call he got about a decade ago out of the blue. Donald asked him if he had seen cow bones or people bones in the well. And then Donald continued, "My daughter's always hallucinating and making up stories, and she told the authorities that I've got a body back there." So apparently he was telling everybody his daughter hallucinated. And no wonder the teachers didn't believe her, or no one believed her when he was saying things like that about her. Multiple agencies are searching records on Donald STUDEY and missing persons to see whether any match Lucy STUDEY's description of the women, as well as of at least 2 male victims, one in his 40s and one in his 20s. I know that one was said to be a hitchhiker. Many of the women, according to STUDEY, were slender on the short side with cropped dark, dirty blonde, or dark red hair. Her older sister, Susan STUDEY, said the allegations against their father were untrue. Susan said she believed the cadaver dog search last week must have picked up animal bones, as well as the remains of their father's stillborn sister buried in a shoebox on the property. But both the dog handler and the sheriff said they believed the dogs found human remains. They maintained the dogs are trained to ignore animal bones. Despite Lucy's claims, her sister Susan denies her father ever being violent, insisting instead that he was just strict. Strict fathers don't just turn into serial killers, she said. Excuse me, Karen. Excuse me, Susan. Yeah, I really meant to do it. Yes, strict fathers can be serial killers. In fact, a lot of them are. I don't know what her point is by saying that. I'm confused about that. But anyway, continues to say, I'm 2 years older than Lucy. I think I would know if my father murdered. I wouldn't know if my dad was a serial killer. He was not, and I want my father's name restored. For Lucy, the search by the cadaver dogs finally seemed to be bringing her nearer to having her story believed and to finding her own closure. She stated, "This is what I've been telling people for 45 years. Now that the cadaver dogs have made a hit of decomposing remains on the land, then the next step would be to use sonar, where possible anyway, and dig the site to look for remains after that. I will keep y'all updated on any more breaking news on this story. If you want to hear more true crime cases, and often I do lesser known grimy crime cases, then join me at the Murder She Shed. Hit that subscribe button where you can get all those cases. I'm going to leave y'all now with a few bloopers of me and Simon as usual. I don't know. I have to go get Simon. We'll see. Anyway, love y'all. Bye. Thanks. We're going to dig right into this one. Quite literally. This case is flipping me out. Like, why wouldn't nobody believe that girl? Come on, people, get your stuff together. What the heck? ADD kicked in again. Went over dramatic as usual. No, it's not Simon. It's actually just Max. Not that just Max is bad. He's a cutie too. So I will let Max say bye to y'all and them beautiful green eyes he has. He's his daddy's dog. Usually he's with his daddy. But lately he's been staying with me more. He thinks I'm more exciting lately. Anyway, Simon, my little German Shepherd's inside. Only way you could get to be him is if you subscribe to my channel, Murder She Shed. Then you can meet him on another video. Okay? He will take your arm off. You want to see this? Give him food. You gotta throw it. He's like a shark. Simon barely takes it out of your hand, but Max is a shark. It scares me to death every time he does that.